Boom! What is going on, guys? Samuel World from Samuel One World Productions here, and I'm back with something. We're doing an actual full game review, which I actually have done in quite a while, actually. Honestly, because most of my videos have just been like on shorts on YouTube, but I figured with this certain game, I figured why not just do an actual video on it. And it's going to be discussing just how I felt about the game as a whole. And that, my friends, is Ratchet Clank Rift Apart, released on the PlayStation 5. And for those who don't know, that very recently, I did finally get a PS5. I did finally decide to buy one, which is very exciting. I finally got a PS5 after so goddamn long, and I finally got to play this and play the recent Ratchet Clank game, which, for those of you who don't know, Ratchet Clank is my personal favorite gaming franchise. Of all the franchises I love, this one's always been my favorite part because of how many times I constantly play through the games, and I played through so many games, but the Ratchet Clank franchise is the one I played the most. Like, the first 3 games, I've gone through multiple upon multiple, and 100% to multiple upon multiple times, yet I still love playing them. And I pretty much enjoy playing them. I do plan on having a legitimate ranking video based on the franchise coming away very soon. Not sure when that'll be out, but I do plan on having a ranking, not just a tier list video, but just a legitimate ranking video where I rank all the games in the franchise. So stay tuned for that. But this is going to be just me reviewing and discussing what I did love about this game. And what I did enjoy about this game, if I did enjoy it. And this was a game that basically was going to emphasize the hardware of the PS5. Like, I remember being pumped for when it was announced, but again, considering it was also released at a time where getting a PS5 was pretty much impossible. Like, I actually had the money for it, it was just hard trying to actually, it was just hard trying to, get the money for it, or get the, where to actually get one, because I know, obviously, it was around time, what happened. So yeah, I was discussing Ratchet Clank Rift Apart, released a couple of years in 2021, and it follows Ratchet Clank, obviously, as basically, it begins with basically Ratchet Clank being celebrated as heroes, and then Clank decided to actually rebuild the Dimensionator, which was a device that basically also goes through dimensions, and so that Ratchet can actually find his Lombax family. And then Dr. Nefarious, who basically has been the main antagonist of the franchise since 3. He also was the main villain in A Crack in Time as well, and was also a side villain in the 2016 remake, and also a playable character in National Alpha 1. Now, the guy is probably the most popular villain in the franchise. I'm not sure why people are really sick of him, being honest, but honestly, I never get sick of Dr. Nefarious. But basically, he ends up stealing the Dimensionator and ends up being destroyed, where all dimensions are basically just clamorousing across each other. And along the way, they end up meeting Rivet, who is another Lombax along this little robot named Kid as well. And the most eventually to try to fight off Dr. Nefarious from ruling the universe. Yeah, and for beginning the review, feel free to hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already, and I would truly love to know you guys' thoughts on Rift Apart down below in the comments. Now, I'm gonna get this out of the way. Ratchet Clank Rift Apart was freaking phenomenal. I loved every single second of this game. I originally was planning on actually streaming this game, honestly, but for those in the last couple weeks, I actually been feeling very sick recently and all that stuff, so I decided to just play on my own time, which really sucks, but I do eventually plan on streaming the actual game, maybe doing a hard difficulty. I don't know when, but I do plan to do that at some point this year. Yeah, but I was kind of sick. I think I still have a little bit of a weakness in my throat, but I also love it back off as well. But let's talk about the game itself. Again, I pretty much love this game. This game is just as amazing and fun and awesome as I was hoping it would be, and personally, it's my opinion one of the best in the franchise. And yeah, the graphics are phenomenal. Like, again, they really showcase the PS5 and the incredible accessibility, and holy shit, there are many moments where the graphics really made my jaw drop. Like so realistic, so breathtaking, so beautiful. Just, oh my god, it's so, just thinking about it. That physics itself are just phenomenal. Phenomenal. Anyhow, I was also even very invested with the story itself, honestly. Like, and these games haven't been known having like top tier stories, but they still have my stories where you're still invested in what's going on for the majority of the games, and which part is no exception. I mean, most recent games they went in kind of more of a story-driven direction, and I'd say that there's also a little more story-driven in this game as well. Like, it's not the most like mind-blowing story in the world, but it's one that will keep you interested and invested with everything going on with Ratchet Clank and Rivet and Kit as well, and everything that's going on with the dimensions and well, some story revelations that I'm not going to spoil for those who haven't played it yet. But some of them actually were based genuine, emotional, and even heartwarming at times. Honestly, you also get some of the best body moments between Ratchet and Clank throughout this entire game, which I really loved and admired. Dust Nefarious is still as fun and menacing as ever. Like, they always find a great balance between going for his comedic side and his menacing side. And they do that once again in Rift Apart, honestly. I know this isn't the best time portrayal of Dust Nefarious. I think a time probably would still be, but in terms of still being the best villain in the franchise and possibly maybe my favorite video game villain ever, and not played many games that have known for having the best villains, by the way, guys. Just heads up. Dust Nefarious still sees a show, and he still has many great comedic moments. I was even very invested in Rivet as well. And Rivet's a character that could have easily just been just a female version of Ratchet, though they currently couldn't have much anything with him. And also, they could have made just a love interest of Ratchet and nothing more. But no, they actually develop a character. They actually give her a backstory. They actually give her meaning and basically exploring what she's really been through in the Resistance and everything that she's been through while dealing with her version of Dust Nefarious. Even some very tragic elements that really play into the story. The story then makes you really care about Rivet. And it really came out like, wow, Rivet might be one of the best characters in this franchise. And honestly, I would say the same thing for Kid as well. This book was kind of basically her role in my community, but she also had a lot of great moments as well. And again, backstory, tragic moments, just damn, perfect. And again, you do play as both characters throughout the entire game. You go do them separately, but it doesn't feel as jarring as they pretty much have the same moveset, which can be in question, which can be a problem or not, but me, it never was. But of course, let's talk about the gameplay again. Rift Apart, I think the best thing I can honestly say about Rift Apart, honestly, I'm pretty sure it's what a lot of people said when this game came out, is that you can go into this game without knowing anything about the franchise. Because one does have some references and some aspects that will probably make a little more sense if you played all the previous games, or at least have a little bit of knowledge of the previous games. It's one thing where even then it doesn't really like do anything. Like, even if you have not played any of the previous games, you can go into this being your first Ratchet Clank game. Like, there are a lot of people that went into the part with this being their first game in the franchise. And it loved them and made them want to get into the franchise. So it's perfect for people who are like diehard fans like me. Because there are definitely a lot of fun nods and references to not just the franchise, but even to other popular franchises. Especially one certain weapon that I'm not going to get into, but that really made me smile. Not to mention, this is also probably the funniest game in the paper, being the funniest game in the franchise. Like, so many moments had me smiling. So many moments had me like busting out laughing. Like, I was really laughing a lot throughout my couple playthroughs with this game. Which I'm surprised about that I 100% this game, because the game is probably one of the easier Ratchet Clank games 200%. Like, you don't need to just be challenge mode or level up all the weapons like in most Ratchet Clank games. But no, you just need to begin once and get a couple certain things, and I mean, most of them pretty much just story related, honestly. So it's just one of the easier platinums to get for a Ratchet Clank game. I still wanted to play it. I still wanted to, and that, my friends, it's how you know love gamers, that even when you're 100%, you still want to play it. But let's talk about the game. Let's talk about the gameplay. Again, it's pretty much what you expect from a Ratchet Clank game. Basically, go through planet to planet, having certain collectibles, and you're also going to buy weapons, and that you can upgrade and more use them, and you get more weapons the more you go on. And once if you're in challenge mode, you basically, if you level up all the weapons to level 5, you can get the mega version of those weapons to level up to level 10. And and this is definitely, and probably I'm just gonna say this. This might be in the favor of being the best arsenal in the franchise. And while these games have had amazing, incredible weapons, but in terms of the weapons as a whole, there really isn't any from this game I really dislike or really did not like using. Every weapon was fun, great, was really great to use, whether they're new weapons or returning weapons from previous games, because there are definitely some returning weapons from the other games that you probably would expect, honestly. It's still better than the boss blade, seriously, but all the weapons are definitely still fun to use. And you definitely want to use them more to level them up and see more. They're just so much, as I said, they are just so much fun to use. And there's also still a lot of stuff to do in this game involving arena combat and got the gold bolts, armor, going through these real rift things that are not the most challenging in the world, that they're probably the most easiest things that's been in this franchise, but they're still fun. And of course, selecting these like spy bots that you can use to go to defend Mrs. Zircon, which by the way, Mrs. Zircon is a weapon vendor. That was amazing, especially for the interaction with her. Oh my god, that was awesome. And you use them to basically get the Rhino, which basically is the mega weapon of the franchise. And this also might be being the best Rhino in the franchise, and I'm not going to say why, but if you play the game, you probably would know why. And this game, and even the armor stuff's kind of fun because some of them are kind of like unique, and some of them also are references to previous Ratchet Clank games, which I smiled for. And then the gold bolts, which I like that in most of the previous games they're used for certain aspects, and also in most of the recent games they're mostly been used for skins. Here they're more used for cheats, honestly, and some of them are actually kind of fun, actually. And also exploring the actual planets. Well, there are different couple of returning planets for previous games. Most of them kind of like new planets, which I definitely did appreciate. Some of them are great fun. A lot of the current characters you meet are also free fun and have the great moments and interactions with the characters as well. The boss battles are as fun as you would expect from a Ratchet Clank game as well. The exploring of these planets are also great and fun. The interactions, the humor. Like, this has the great fun adventure vibe that you would expect from a Ratchet Clank game. And it also has that great amazing music that you also expect from a Ratchet Clank game at this point. And this game just filled me with, you can tell this game really just filled me with so much joy as a Ratchet Clank fan. Honestly, it's one of those few Ratchet Clank games where I don't really find anything negative to say about the game, honestly. I don't know if that's me describing a fanboy, honestly, but I really didn't find anything I disliked about Rift Apart. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be as replayable as the other games, but overall, I had a fucking blast playing through this game. Yeah, I already beat this game twice as I'm filming this. And I wouldn't be surprised if in the near future I go for like a third or fourth or even freaking fifth playthrough. Even if I do finish streaming on the highest difficulty, I wouldn't mind going at it again. And that's how you know how much you love a game, and that's what are the best games in the franchise is the ones that I feel I can play over and over and over again. Like, there might be a couple periods where I might get sick of it, but I always adore going back to this game. It's like something I played constantly and constantly and constantly, and something I know inside and out. So overall, Ratchet Clank Rift Apart is one of the best entries in the franchise. I loved every second of my playthroughs with this game. Again, I have 100% this game. Another one I have 100%. I think I'm 100% like half the franchise at this point, honestly. But yeah, great story, phenomenal graphics, probably some of the best I've seen in any video game. Again, the characters are still great, old and new. The weapons are fantastic. The combat is great. The worlds are great. The planets are great. Everything about the game is great. It's great. I don't know if it's gonna be my favorite in the franchise at one point, but right now, at the film this, it definitely is one of the best. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed my video discussing my thoughts on the Ratchet Clank franchise. I would definitely love to know how you guys feel. I definitely would love to know how you guys would feel about the part down below. What you guys thoughts on the game, and again, I do plan on having a ranking on the franchise at some point. I'm not sure when as I'm filming this, but I eventually will have a ranking on this series at some point, so thank you for that. Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate it. I am Samuel One World from Samuel One World Productions. I'll see you next time. As always, stay cool, everybody. Peace.